Hi, I'm Peter Birch. In this week's show, we're going to take a closer look at the Stimson's python, the large blotch python, just like this guy. If you're an Antaresia nut like me, you're going to love it. Welcome to CrittaCam. With the Antaresia stimsoni, or better known as the Stimson's python, there is two well-known localities. We've got the stimsoni, which are the Western Australian varieties, and we have the Stimsoni orientalis, which tend to be the eastern varieties. We'll start off with the Stimsoni, the WA varieties. Now, probably the most well-known ones are these beautiful little fellas right here. We're talking about the wheat belt localities. These things are absolutely amazing. I mean, look at those colours, the yellows with those dark, rich earth tone reds. Some of these guys can be absolutely stunning animals. Heading further inland, you head into the Pilbara area, where you can find something as stunning as this. These are the Pilbaras, the Pilbara stimmies. I mean, those reds are now more of a really deep maroon colours, and those really creamy colours tend to be slightly darker again, but there's some stunning animals, definitely. Beautiful creatures. Heading further north now, you're heading into the Sandfire area, a little bit more arid and open area, and there again the colours and the patterns tend to change again. I mean, just amongst each individual locality, you can have some absolutely polygenic or variation within those certain localities. We're going to show you a few of those right now. Well, with the WA stuff, you know, it's absolutely amazing to see the colours and the variety of patterns. But with the wheat belt stuff, I mean, it's probably the most spectacular of them all. These guys are probably the most sought after of any of the Stimsons of the Western variety. I mean, if you look at the normal sort of wheat belt variation in colours and patterns there, and then you look at something that's a little bit more extreme, a little bit more pale, almost like a hypo-bredli with those really deep, nice, consistent red sort of earth tones. I mean, you can't help to see how awesome these animals are. And with these dark blotches in the light background, well, with a bit of manipulation, a bit of playing around, you can actually start to turn it around. You can get more of the light background coming through and less of the blotching. And we'll show you one right now. Now, with that light colour coming through the background, being more and more present, I think these guys are going to be absolutely stunning animals. And like I said, that's just through selective line breeding. As easy as it is, the most polygenics, you know, just breeding the best of the best and producing more babies and picking out the lightest ones of the lightest ones, reducing those dark blotches just like this guy and producing some stunning animals just like this little fella right here. So as we move away from the WA stock and we're coming across into Central Australia, we're going to find some more stimmies, but they're not going to look anything like the Western Australian stuff. Their blotches are going to be more blotched, not joined together with lines around the heads like the WA stock, just like this beautiful Tennant Creek animal here. I mean, look at the colours. The colours aren't as intense as the WA animals, the deep reds, maroons, and oranges and yellows, but these guys have definitely got some magnificent colours and patterns. And as we start to move around that Central Australia area, from top to bottom, we find a little bit more diversity. So we'll have a look at those also. So I guess the other central locality that we talk about is the Alice Springs Stimson's python. I mean, it's very distinguishedly different to the Tennant Creeks. I mean, as you can see, the colour is a little bit different, the patterns are a little bit more broad, and their eyes are a little bit different as well. Now, one of the cool things that you notice about this particular locality is that there are actually two different types of animals, almost. One is a smooth-scaled and the other one's a ray-scale. And the belief behind that is that the ray-scaled animals inhabit the sandy areas and the smooth-scaled animals inhabit the rocky areas. And one of the two types is very difficult to breed in captivity with very poor results. Now, I think these animals are absolutely stunning in their own right. And as we start moving further east, that's where we start to find some different ones again, some more variations of these beautiful Stimson's python, and probably my favourite ones of all, the New South Wales stimmies. This is the New South Wales Stimson's python. I mean, a lot more yellows and oranges, and even the tinge of reds throughout those blotches. These are really cool animals. I started working with these guys about 18 years ago, and I can tell you now, through the selective breeding, looking at the particular babies that are coming out with certain traits, more pattern, less pattern, different colours, brighter colours, and just continually line breeding those and producing some really cracking animals just from this particular guy. Who would think that all that you're going to see in a few minutes has come from this particular male right here? There's some cracking animals. Let's show you through some of them. I mean, from that male, he's produced some really nice babies, and unlike the father, these guys have got a wicked feed response. Now, this is one of the very first babies I produced from that particular male, and what came out was some really interesting stuff. Straight away we noticed that there's a lack of colour or blotching pigment down the centre of its back. Now this is almost like a reverse stripe, so there's nothing down the back of the spine of the animal. That was pretty cool, I thought. But then from this animal I put it back to one of its brothers and we produced another really cool looking creature that we call this guy over here. And there again, I mean, some of these animals don't look like they got much in them. And there again, like I said before, we had that reverse patterning almost again. There's slight markings down the back, but it tend to keep these large blotches down the side. Now from breeding these animals back to each other, sibling again, doing more line breeding, trying to improve that coloration and bring this pigmentation out, what started to happen is it started to go in two different directions. One direction it started going more orange, and the other direction it started to go more yellow. So we bred that animal to its sibling and we produced something that looked like this. So this is one of the extreme animals that started going towards the yellow area, and the pigmentation started to break up into smaller blotches, as you can see. So probably not as intense coloration as one would think or hope, but we're starting to improve some coloration and selective sort of breeding here. This was the foundation or the key for some really exciting stuff that came the following generation, and we're going to run through that right now. Here's the other direction this project started going. Man, this was one animal that I was really super excited. I mean, it didn't pip out of the egg. I had to cut the egg. It was the last egg of the clutch. This animal was super small. He wasn't responsive to food, but I can tell you now at this size here, he's produced many good clutches already in the last 2 years. It's almost like a patternless Stimson's python. He's got these really reduced colours and very faint blotches all throughout his body. He has been a real pivotal part of this project. So this male here has actually gone back over his sisters and producing some really stunning animals, just like the ones we're looking at right now. This is where that beautiful yellow line was going. It's going into these beautiful animals here. I mean, here's a portion of two specifically awesome looking yellow animals. Look at the way that yellow is just popping right out, and those little blotches are getting smaller and smaller. They are quite an impressive animal. And I mean, if you think this is great at a year of age, we can show you some others that are much older and still maintaining that beautiful colour right there. So these were the really cool looking animals. Here's two more that are a year older, and I mean, when you put the colours together, it's hard to see the difference. They're maintaining that beautiful yellow colour and those beautiful speckles. I mean, these guys are really awesome. I love them, but wait till you see the orange stuff that's coming out. That stuff is smoking hot. Now with the orange project, in its particular way that it was starting to work out, it was producing more and more animals just like this. I mean, there again we had the reverse stripe, so the lack of blotching down the back, but instead of, you know, some browns being mixed in there, the oranges started to become more and more expressed, turning more like this beautiful animal here. And we're looking at reduced head patterning. I mean, one cannot be excited about this. We started producing a few more of them, and they all started to be a bit more consistent with the coloration and the pattern. As you can see, their results are absolutely spectacular. And it wasn't until we actually hit the jackpot, I really think, and we got something that was starting to look just like this beautiful creature here, we started to call the project the glowworm project, because, you know, Stimson and I aren't very big animals, but these colours are really glowing. These animals are around about 2 years of age, and this coming season we're going to produce these back to each other and see if we can get more glowworms. If not, the whole aim of this project is to try and get the most reduced pattern Stimson's python holding those bright yellow colours. But for every generation that I've got to grow up, that's 18 months to 2 years in between every time I can breed them back to each other to continue that live breeding process. So you don't get results as quick as you do with straight genetic traits, but hey, I think the results speak for themselves. I mean, look at that. That thing is just absolutely glowing, and I can't wait. You'd have to agree that with the colours and the patterns in the Stimson's pythons, man, the future's looking really awesome. Imagine what we're going to create in a few more years. There is some absolutely spectacular stuff right here. Please leave a comment below, hit us up on Facebook and Twitter. Until next time, you've been watching CrittaCam.